संसारदावानलनिधलोका त्रणयकारुण्य घन घनत्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणर्नवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् महाप्रभो कीर्तनरुच्य गीता वादित्रमाध्यान् मनसोरसेना कीर्तनरुच्य गीता वादित्रमाध्यान् मनसोरसेना रोमाञ्चकाम्पा श्रुतरङ्गबाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रुतरङ्गबाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यानाना शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमर्चनादौ युक्तस्य भक्तं शनियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो स्वाधन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् श्रीभगवत्प्रसादो कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपानाम्नाम् प्रतीक्षणा स्वाधनलोलुपास्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् निकुञ्जयोनो रतिकेलिसिद्ध्याय यायालिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्र त्रिदाक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् साक्षादरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैरुक्तस्तथा भव्यत एव शब्दिः किन्तु प्रभोर्या प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादान् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्तु वांसस्य यशस्श्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् वांसस्य यशस्श्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् ध्यायन्तु वांसस्य यशस्श्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana, Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohana. Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana, Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda, Sri Advaita Sita, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavat Gita. Nityananda, Sri Advaita Sita, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavat Gita. Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Jayo Radha Nila Madhav, Radha Nila Madhav, Shri Radhe. Radha Nila Madhav, Radha Nila Madhav, Shri Radhe. जय राधा नीला माधव राधा नीला माधव श्री राधे माधव श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह 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 जय नरसिंह जय लक्ष्मी नर जय सीताराम जय सीताराम जय सीताराम जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय सीताराम जय सीताराम जय लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल
Jai Om Shri Bhada Brahmam Sabhajaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Aparachana Vrinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON PPT PI Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Shri Bhada Brahmam Sabhajaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samavrita Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Hlad Dayine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaham Shilatanka Nakhalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bahir Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadritam Narahari Rupam Jai Jagdish Hare Jai Jagdish Hare Jai Jagdish Hare तव कर कमल वरे नाथा केशव धृता नर हरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो भक्त प्रह्लाद जय प्रभुपद नरसिंह जयो लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जयो भक्त प्रह्लाद जय प्रभुपद गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय जय हरि हरि बोल।
वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु भक्ति पदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः।
वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सच
वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु भक्ति पदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः।
वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सच
वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सच विष्णु भक्ति पदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
प्रभुजी नरकत प्रभुजी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो यही अभिलाषी कृष्ण राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो यही अभिलाषी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः એ તો મારા શરણલોય તારા વાંછ પૂર્ણ હોય કૃપા કોરી કરો તારે વૃંદાવનવાસી મોરાએ ઈયા વિલાસ કુંજ દિયો વાસ નયન હેરીબો સદા યુગલ રૂપરાસી નયને હેરીબો સદા યુગલ રૂપરાસી નમો નમઃ તુલસી કૃષ્ણ પ્રેયસી નમો નમઃ લસી કૃષ્ણ यही निवेदनादारा सखीरानुगाता कोरो यही निवेदनादारा सखीरानुगाता कोरो सेवाधिकारो दिए कोरो निज दासी दिए कोरो निज दासी दीन कृष्ण दासे को ये नामोरा होय कृष्ण दास हो ये नामोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये नबासी राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये नबासी यानी कानी च पापानि ब्रह्मा हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणक्षन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे अनिकानि च पापानि ब्रह्मा हत्यानि तानि च तानि तानि प्रणक्षन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम भक्ति देवी जय भक्ति देवी वृंदाये तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाये केशवच्च च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सच्चवताय नमो नमः वृंदाये तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाये केशवच्च च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः श्री वृंदादेव तुलसीदेव महारानी की जय।
O Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire in the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has wishes fulfilled. Bestow upon and mercy upon him. You make him a resident of Vrindavana. My desire also grant me residence in the precious groves of Shri Vrindavana Dham. Thus within my vision I shall always behold the beautiful paths of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower, cowherd, and so the virgin. Please give me the privileged devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna prays. May I always swim in the love of Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulasi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the matter chanting holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods, Lord Shiva or Brahma, to be equal to independent name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuant Vedic version. 5. To consider glorious chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activity on strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Vedas fruity activities, karma, kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glorious holy name. 10. To not complete faith in chanting holy names and to maintain material attachments, even understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense in being attentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the devotees of the Lord. They are just as I trees who can fulfill to everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto Darpana Marjanam Pavamahadavakni Nirvapanam Shriya Gairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamita Sadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra pita niyamita smaranena kalaha etadishi tava kripa bhagavam mamapi durudevami desham yaha janina nurakaha trinatapi sunicena tarorapi saishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sataharihi na thanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye Mama Jamani Jamanishvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Tavai Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Man Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duri Satesham Vichintaya Nayanam Garatha Shrutadaya Vatanam Gat Gata Rudaya Kira Pulaka Nichitam Vapurkata Tava Nama Kahane Bhavishyati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me ashrisha vapadaratam pinnashtumam hadarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidathatu lampato matprananathastu se eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads as the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully take the nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction to human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have vested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate and have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Marjananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one's Adam to lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up or hairs my body stand and recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considered a moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. He shall remain so if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything, everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam Ki Jai. Shri Mangala Charna prayers Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Litam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Pachadate Shatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhani Videvi Daitaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Premadya Shri Rupa Nuka Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuka Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipalambara Sambodhe Padam Bhujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virabhava Bhumistvam Nirtishta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vancha Kalpa Durupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurateshe Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Sratoro Pangor Mamamanda Mater Gati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Divindadanya Kalpaju Mata Shimadra Nagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtari Bi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman rasa rasaram pivam shivata tathastitaha Karshang venu soner gopir gopinata shiyistuna Tapta kanchana gaurangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusate devi panamami hari priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Dadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srimad Gauravacharya Prayers Ki Jai Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadyaradya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasu Kapaviksha Lakshariteshu Surabhi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shatasam Parmasevyamanam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venun Kavanantam Aravinda Dalayadaksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shopam Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chantakala Savanamare Vamshi Ranangadam Panayakeri Kalavilasam Shamam Tepanga Lalitam Yata Prakasham Govindam Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pasyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chimme satu jala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami advaitam achotam anadi manantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakta govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Pantastu koti shatavassara sampragamyo Vayuratapi manaso munipangavanam Sopyasti yapapada simya vichinta tatve Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ekopya sora chaitum jagatanta kotim Yachakti rasti jagatanta chayaya dantaha Antantarastha paramanu chayantarastham Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yabhava pavitadiyo manujastateva samprapya rupa mahimasanayana pushaha suktayam eva nigama patitai stuvanti govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ananda chimma rasa patibhavitapi stape evan rupa taya kalapihi goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhutto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sateva Hidayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundar Machintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalanyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Karo Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Paramapumam Yo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna, who is Govinda, the Supreme Godhead. He is an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire. In abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with the flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shamasundara is eternally manifest. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and discourse full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs it eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the two of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyances, and ornaments. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confident Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shamasundara Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna in the different avatars in the world, in the forms of Rama, Nrisimha, Vamana, etc., as his subjective portions. Sri Brahma Samhita ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 purport. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punyasravana kirtana hrudayanta histo hi abhadrani vidinoti suhratsatam nashta prayesva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttam sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhasdayaschaye चेतयेतेर अनावेदम सितम सत्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत भक्ति योगतः भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवात्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga subverts the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 12. Jato harshopatan murdhana ksitau labdha manorataha girbestva abhyagranat priti swabhavatma kritanjalihi jata harsha, naturally jubilant. Apatat, he fell down, murdhana, with his head, ksitau, on the ground, labdha, having been achieved, manaharatha, his desire, garbihi, with prayers, tu, and abhyagranat, he satisfied, priti swabhava atma, whose heart is by nature always full of love, kruta anjalihi, with folded hands. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Kardama Muni actually realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead in person, he was greatly satisfied because his transcendental desire was fulfilled. He fell on the ground with his head bowed to offer obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. His heart naturally full of love of God, with folded hands he satisfied the Lord with prayers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The realization of the personal form of the Lord is the highest perfectional stage of yoga. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where yoga practice is described, this realization of the personal form of the Lord is called the perfection of yoga. After practicing the sitting postures and other regulative principles of the system, one finally reaches the stage of samadhi, absorption in the Supreme. In the samadhi stage, one can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his partial form as Paramatma, or as he is. Samadhi is described in authoritative yoga scriptures such as the Patanjali Sutras to be a transcendental pleasure. The yoga system described in the books of Patanjali is authoritative, and the modern so called yogis who have manufactured their own ways, not consulting the authorities, are simply ludicrous. The Patanjali yoga system is called Ashtanga Yoga. Sometimes impersonalists pollute the Patanjali yoga system because they are monoists. Patanjali describes that the soul is transcendently pleased when he meets the super soul and sees him. If the existence of the super soul and the individual is admitted, then the impersonalist theory of monism is nullified. Therefore, some impersonalist and void philosophers twist the Patanjali system in their own way and pollute the whole yoga process. According to Patanjali, when one becomes free from all material desires, he attains his real transcendental situation, and realization of that stage is called spiritual power. In material activities, a person engages in the modes of material nature. The aspirations of such people are 1. To be religious, 2. To be economically enriched, 3. To be able to gratify the senses, and at last, 4. To become one with the Supreme. According to the monoists, when a yogi becomes one with the Supreme and loses his individual existence, he attains the highest stage called Kaivalya. But actually, the stage of realization of the personality of Godhead is Kaivalya. The oneness of understanding that the Supreme Lord is fully spiritual and that in full spiritual realization one can understand what he is. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Kaivalya, or in the language of Patanjali, realization of spiritual power. His proposal is that when one is freed from material desires and fixed in spiritual realization of the self and the super self, that is called Chit Sakti. In full spiritual realization, there is perception of a spiritual happiness, and that happiness is described in the Bhagavad Gita as the supreme happiness, which is beyond the material senses. Trance is described to be of two kinds, samprajnata and asamprajnata, or mental speculation and self realization. In samadhi or asamprajnata, one can realize by his spiritual senses the spiritual form of the Lord. That is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. According to Patanjali, when one is fixed in constant realization of the supreme form of the Lord, one has attained the perfectional stage as attained by Kardama Muni. Unless one attains this stage of perfection beyond the perfection of the preliminaries of the yoga system, there is no ultimate realization. There are 8 perfectionists in the Ashtanga yoga system. One who has attained them, one become lighter than the lightest and greater than the greatest, and he can achieve whatever he likes. But even achieving such material success in yoga is not the perfection of the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is described here. Kardama Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his eternal form. Devotional service begins with the relationship of the individual soul and the Supreme Soul, or Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And when one attains it, there is no question of falling down. If through the yoga system one attains to attain the stage of seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, but is attracted instead to attain of some material power, then he is deterred from proceeding further. Material enjoyment, as encouraged by bogus yogis, has nothing to do with the transcendental realization of spiritual happiness. Real devotees of Bhakti Yoga accept only the material necessities of life absolutely needed to maintain the body and soul together. They refrain completely from all exaggerated material sense gratification. They are prepared to undergo all kinds of tribulation, provided they can make progress in the realization of the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 13. Rishir Uvacha Justam Batadyakhila Sattvasrase Samsiddhyam Akshno Darshananaham Yad Darshanam Janmabir Idya Sabdher Asasate Yogino Ruda Yoga. Rishi Uvacha, the great sage said, Justam is attained, Bata, aha, Adya, now, Akila, all, Sattva, of goodness, Rase, who are the reservoir, Samsiddhyam, the complete success, Akshno, of the 2 eyes, Tava, of you, Darshanat, from the sight, Naha, by us, Yat, of whom, Darshanam, sight, Janmabihi, through births, Idya, O worshipable Lord, Sabdihi, gradually elevated in position, Asasate, aspire, Yoginaha, yogis, Ruda Yoga, having obtained perfection in yoga. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great sage Kardama said, O Supreme worshipable Lord, my power of sight is now fulfilled. having attained the greatest perfection of the sight of you, who are the reservoir of all existences. Through many successive births of deep meditation, advanced yogis aspire to see your transcendental form. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described here as the reservoir of all goodness and all pleasure. Unless one is situated in the mode of goodness, there is no real pleasure. When therefore one's body, mind, and activities are situated in the service of the Lord, one is on the highest perfectional stage of goodness. Kardama Muni says, your Lordship is the reservoir of all that can be understood by the nomenclature of goodness. And by experiencing you face to face, eye to eye, the perfection of sight has now been attained. These statements are the pure devotional situation. For a devotee, and the perfection of the senses is to engage in the service of the Lord. The sense of sight, when engaged in seeing the beauty of the Lord, is perfected. The power to hear, when engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, is perfected. The power to taste, when one enjoys by eating prasada, is perfected. When all the senses engage in relationship with the personality of Godhead, one's perfection is technically called Bhakti Yoga, which entails detaching the senses from material indulgence and attaching them to the service of the Lord. When one is freed from all designated conditional life and fully engages in the service of the Lord, one's service is called Bhakti Yoga. Kardama Muni admits that seeing the Lord personally in Bhakti Yoga is the perfection of sight. The exalted perfection of seeing the Lord is not exaggerated by Kardama Muni. He gives evidence that those who are actually elevated in yoga aspire in life after life to see this form of the personality of Godhead. He was not a fictitious yogi. Those who are actually in the advanced path aspire only to see the eternal form of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 14. Ye mayaya te hata medasastvat parardadvindam bhava sindhu potam upasate kamalavai tesham rasisa kama niraye piyeshuyo. Ye, those persons, mayaya, by the deluding energy, te, of you, hata, has been lost, medasha, whose intelligence, tvat, your, pada aravindam, lotus feet, bhava, of mundane existence, sindhu, the ocean, potam, the boat of for crossing, upasate, worship, kama lavaya, for obtaining trivial pleasures, tesham, there, rishi, rasi, you bestow, isa, O Lord, kaman, desires, niraye, in hell, api, even, ye, which desires, shu, can be available. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Your lotus feet are the true vessel to take one across the ocean of mundane nescience. Only persons deprived of their intelligence by the spell of the deluding energy will worship those feet with a view to attain the trivial and momentary pleasures of the senses, which even persons rotting in hell can attain. However, O my Lord, you are so kind that you bestow mercy upon them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, there are two kinds of devotees: those who desire material pleasures and those who desire nothing but service to the Lord. Material pleasures can be attained even by hogs and dogs, whose condition of life is hellish. The hog also eats, sleeps, and enjoys sex life to the full extent, and it is also very satisfied with such hellish enjoyment of material existence. Modern yogis advise that because one has senses, one must enjoy to the fullest extent like cats and dogs. Yet one can go on and practice yoga. This is condemned here by Kardama Muni. He says that such material pleasures are available for cats and dogs in hellish condition. The Lord is so kind that if so-called yogis are satisfied by hellish pleasures, He can give them facilities to attain all the material pleasures they desire, but they cannot attain the perfectional stage of attained by Kardama Muni. Hellish and demoniac persons do not actually know what is the ultimate attainment in perfection, and therefore they think that sense gratification is the highest goal of life. They advise that one can satisfy the senses and at the same time, by reciting some mantra and by some practice, can cheaply aspire for perfection. Such persons are described here as Hata Medasha, which means those whose brains are spoiled. They aspire for material enjoyment by perfection of yoga or meditation. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated by the Lord that the intelligence of those who worship the demigods has been spoiled. Similarly, here too it is stated by Kardama Muni that one who aspires after material enjoyment when practice of yoga has spoiled his brain substance and is fool number one. Actually, the intelligent practitioner of yoga should aspire for nothing else but to cross over the ocean of nescience by worshipping the personality of Godhead and to see the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind, however, that even today persons whose brain substance is spoiled are given the benediction to become cats, dogs, or hogs and enjoy material happiness from sex life and sense gratification. The Lord confirms this benediction in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever a person aspires to receive from me, I offer him as he desires. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 15. Tata sachaham parivodhu kamaha samana sheelam grahameda denam upayevan moolam asesha moolam durasaya kama dughana gripasya. Tata, similarly, saha, myself, cha, also, aham, I, parivodu, kamaha, desiring to marry, samana seelam, a girl of like disposition, grahameda, in married life, dhenum, a cow of plenty, upayuvan, I have approached, mulam, the root, lotus feet, asesha of everything, moolam, the source, durasayaha, with lustful desire, kamadugha, yielding all desires, angripasya, of you who are the tree. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, desiring to marry a girl of like disposition who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in material life, to satisfy my lustful desire, I too have sought the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of everything, for you are like a desired tree. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In spite of his condemning persons who approach the Lord for material advantages, Kardama Muni expressed his material inability and desire before the Lord by saying, although I know that nothing material should be asked from you, I nevertheless desire to marry a girl of like disposition. The phrase like disposition is very significant. Formerly, boys and girls of similar dispositions were married. The similar natures of the body and girl were united in order to make them happy. Not more than 25 years ago, and perhaps it is still current, parents in India used to consult the horoscope of the boy and girl to see whether there would be factual union in their psychological condition. These considerations are very important. Nowadays, marriages takes place without such consultation, and therefore soon after the marriage there is divorce and separation. Formerly, husband and wife used to live together peacefully throughout their whole lives, but nowadays it is very difficult task. Kardama Muni wanted to have a wife of like disposition because a wife is necessary to assist in spiritual and material advancement. It is said that a wife yields the fulfillment of all desires in religion, economic development, and such gratification. If one has a nice wife, he is to be considered a most fortunate man. In astrology, a man is considered fortunate who has great wealth, very good sons, or a very good wife. Of these three, one who has a very good wife is considered the most fortunate. Before marrying, one should select a wife of like disposition and not be enamored by so-called beauty or other attractive features for sense gratification. In the Bhagavatam 12th canto, it is said that in the Kali Yuga, marriage will be based on the consideration of sex life. As soon as there is deficiency in sex life, the question of divorce will arise. Kardama Muni could have asked this benediction from Uma, for it is for it is recommended in the scriptures that if anyone wants a good wife, he should worship Uma, but he preferred to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead because it is recommended in the Bhagavatam that everyone, whether he is full of desires, has no desire, or desires liberation, should worship the Supreme Lord. Of these three classes of men, one tries to be happy by fulfillment of material desires, another wants to be happy by becoming one with the Supreme, and another, the perfect man, is the devotee. He does not want anything in return from the personality of Godhead. He only wants to render transcendental loving service. In any case, everyone should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for he will fulfill everyone's desire. The advantage of worshipping the Supreme Person is that even if one has desires for material enjoyment, If he worships Krishna, he will gradually become a pure devotee and have no more material hankering. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 6. प्रजापतेस्ते वचासादिशतन्या लोकाखिलायं कामहतोऽनुबद्धाः अहं च लोकानुगतो वाहमि बलिं च शुक्लानि मिषयासुतुभ्यं. Prajapate, who are the master of living entities, they of you Vachasa under the direction, Adisha, O my Lord, Tantya by a rope, Loka conditioned souls, Kila indeed, Ayam these, Kamahata conquered by lusty desires, Anubadha are bound, Aham I, Cha and Loka Anugataha, following the conditioned souls, Vahami offer, Balim oblations, Cha and Shukla, O embodiment of religion, Animisaya, existing as eternal time, Tubhyam, to you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O my Lord, you are the master and leader of all living entities. Under your direction, all conditioned souls, as if bound by rope, are constantly engaged in satisfying their desires. Following them, O embodiment of religion, I also bear oblations for you, who are eternal time. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In the Karta Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Lord is the leader of all living entities. He is their sustainer and the awarder of all their necessities and desires. No living entity is independent, all are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Vedic instruction is that one should enjoy life under the direction of the Supreme Leader, the personality of Godhead. Vedic literatures like Ishopanishad direct that since everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should not encroach upon another's property, but should enjoy one's individual allotment. The best program for every living entity is to take direction from the Supreme Lord and enjoy material or spiritual life. A question may be raised: since Kardam Muni was advanced in spiritual life, why then did he not ask the Lord for liberation? Why did he want to enjoy material life in spite of his personally seeing that experiencing the Supreme Lord? The answer is that not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. It is everyone's duty, therefore, to enjoy according to his present position. But under the direction of the Lord or the Vedas are considered to be the Vedas under the direction of the Lord or the Vedas. The Vedas are considered to be the direct words of the Lord. The Lord gives us the opportunity to enjoy material life as we want, and at the same time, He gives directions for the modes and processes of abiding by the Vedas, so that gradually one may be elevated to liberation from material bondage. The conditioned souls who have come to the material world to fulfill their desires to lord it over material nature are bound by the laws of nature. The best course is to abide by the Vedic rules that will help one to be gradually elevated in liberation. Kardama Muni addresses the Lord as Shukla, which means the leader of religion. One who is pious should follow the rules of religion, for such rules are described by the Lord Himself. No one can manufacture or concat a religion. Religion refers to the injunctions or laws of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that religion means to surrender unto Him. Therefore, one should follow the Vedic regulations and surrender unto the Supreme Lord, because that is the ultimate goal of perfection in human life. One should live a life of pity, following the religious rules and regulations, marry and live peacefully for elevation to the higher status of spiritual realization.
Text 17, Canto 3, Chapter 21. Lokam shalokānugatan pasumscha hitva shritaste chernatapatram parasparam tvadguna vadasidu piyusa niryapita dehadharma. Lokan, worldly affairs, Cha and Lokanugatan, the followers of worldly affairs. Pashun, beastly, Cha and Hitva, having given up. Shritaha, taken shelter. Te, your Charana of lotus feet. Atapatram, the umbrella, parasparam, with one another. Tvat, your guna of qualities. Vada, by discussion. Sidhu, intoxicating. Piyusha, by the nectar. Niryapita, extinguished. Deha dharmaha, the primary necessities of the body. Translation. However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities in discussion with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of the material body. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After describing the necessity of married life, Kardama Muni asserts that marriage and other social affairs are stereotyped regulations for persons who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. The principles of animal life, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, are actually necessities of the body. But those who engage in transcendental Krishna consciousness, giving up all the stereotyped activities of this material world, are freed from social conventions. Conditioned souls are under the spell of material energy or eternal time, past, present, and future. But as soon as one engages in Krishna consciousness, he transcends the limits of past, present, and becomes situated in the eternal activities of the soul. One has to act in terms of the Vedic injunction in order to enjoy material life. But those who have taken to the devotional service of the Lord he trans the limits of past, present, become situated in the internal activities of the soul. One has to act in terms of the Vedic injunction in order to enjoy material life. But those who have taken to the devotional service of the Lord are not afraid of the regulations of this material world. Such devotees do not care for the conventions of material activities. They boldly take to the shelter which is like an umbrella against the sun of repeated birth and death. Look at the page number. Constant transmigration. Go in the kitchen, ask Mataji to tell Mataji. Sit here. Okay, sit here. Okay, let's see if we can follow. See, I'm using my peacock feather to follow. Constant transmigration of the soul from one body to another is the cause of suffering in material existence. This conditional life in material existence is called samsara. One may perform good work and take his birth in a very nice material condition. But the process under which birth and death take place is like a terrible fire. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, in his prayer to the spiritual master, has described this. Samsara, or the repetition of birth and death, is compared to a forest fire. A forest fire takes place automatically, without anyone's endeavor, by the friction of the dried wood, and no fire department or sympathetic person can extinguish. The raging forest fire can be extinguished only when there is a constant downpour of water from a cloud. The cloud is compared to the mercy of the spiritual master.
Go back home.
Yeah. By the grace By the grace of the spiritual master, the cloud of the mercy of the personality of Godhead is brought in. And then only, when the rains of Krishna consciousness fall, can the fire of material existence can be extinguished. This is also explained here. In order to find freedom from the stereotyped conditional life of material existence, one has to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Not in the manner in which the impersonalists indulge, but in devotional service, chanting and hearing of the activities of the Lord. Only then can one be freed from the actions and reactions of material existence. It is recommended here that One should give up the conditional life of this material world and the association of the so called civilized human beings who are simply following, in a polished way, the same stereotyped principles of eating, sleeping, defending, and imaging. Chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord is described here as Tvat Gunavada Siddhu. Only by drinking the nectar of chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord can one forget the intoxication of material existence.
Nate Jaraksha Brahmirayuresham Trayodasharam Trisatam Sasti Parva Sannemiyananta Chad Chadi Yatrinabi Karalaso Shrota Jagadi Achedya Davat Not they your Ajara Ajara of imperishable Brahman, Aksha on the axle, Brahmihi rotating, Ayuhu span of life, Esham of the devotees, Tiayo Trayodasha da Trayodasha functions. No, Trayodasha 13. Aram spokes. 3. Satam 300. Sashti 60. Parva functions. Sat 6. Nemi rims. Ananta innumerable. Chadi leaves. Yat which. 3. Nabhi nades. Karala shrotaha with tremendous velocity. Jagat the universe. Achidya cutting short. Dafat running. Davat running. Translation: your wheel, which has 3 naves, rotates around the axis of the imperishable Brahman. It has 13 spokes, 360 joints, 6 rims, and numberless leaves carved upon it. Though its revolution cuts short the lifespan of the entire creation, this wheel of tremendous velocity cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. Purport: the time factor cannot affect the span of life of the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that a little execution of devotional service saves one from the greatest danger. The greatest danger is transmigration of the soul from one body to another, and only devotional service to the Lord can stop this process. It is stated in the Vedic cultures, Harim Vina Naiva Shridram Shritin Taranti. Without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot stop the cycle of birth and death. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that only by understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord and his activities, his appearance and disappearance, can one stop the cycle of death and go back to him. The time factor is divided into many fractions of moments, hours, months, years, periods, seasons, etc. All the divisions in this verse are determined according to the astronomical astronomical calculations of Vedic literature, there are 6 seasons called ritus, and there is the period of 4 months called Chaturmasya. 3 periods of 4 months complete 1 year. According to Vedic astronomical calculations, there are 13 months. The 13th month is called Adi Masa or Mala Masa, and is added every 3rd year. The time factor, however, cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees. In another verse, it is stated that when the sun rises and sets, it takes away the life of all living entities, but it cannot take away the life of those who are engaged in devotional service. The time is compared here to a big wheel, which has 360 joints, 6 rims in the shape of seasons, and numberless leaves in the shape of moments. It rotates under eternal existence, Brahman.
Text 19, Canto 3, Chapter 21. Ekak swayam san jagata srishrikshaya dvitiyayatman adi yogamayayam shrujasi adapasi punargrasisyase yato nanabi bhagavan swasakti Ekaha, one, Swayam, yourself, San, being, Jagataha, the universes, Sisrakshaya, with a desire to create, Advitiya, without a second, Atma in yourself, Adi, controlling, Yogamaya, by Yogamaya, Srujyasi, you create, Adaha, those universes, Pasi, you maintain, Punaha, again, Grashishyase, you will wind up, Yada, like, Urnanabi, a spider, Bhagavan, O Lord, Swashakti Bihi, by its own energy. Translation: My dear Lord, you alone create the universes. O personality of Godhead, desiring to create these universes, you create them, maintain them, again wind them up by your own energies, which are under the control of your second energy, called Yogamaya, just as a spider creates a cobweb by its own energy and again winds it up. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In this verse, 2 important words nullify the impersonalist theory that everything is God. Here Kardama says, O personality of Godhead, you are alone, but you have various energies. The example of the spider is very significant also. The spider is an individual living entity, and by its energy, it creates a cobweb and plays on it, and whenever it likes it, winds up the cobweb, thus ending the play. When the cobweb is manufactured by the saliva of the spider does not become impersonal. Similarly, the creation and manifestation of the material or spiritual energy does not render the Creator impersonal. Here the very prayer suggests that God is sentient and can hear the prayers and fulfill the desires of the devotee. Therefore, He is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, the form of bliss, knowledge and eternity. Text 20.
Naita Badadesh Padam Tave Pshidam Ya Yanmayanasto Tanushe Buddha Sukshamam Anu na taed badesh
अनुग्रहायस्त्वपि यर्हि मायया लसत्तुलस्य भगवान् नैताद्बदादीश पदं तवेप्सितं यन्मायया नस्तन्नुष्युसे भूतसूक्ष्मम् अनुग्रहायस्तु अपि यर्हि मायया लसत्तुलस्य भगवान् विलक्षिताः. Translation. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, not eta, this, bata, indeed, adisha, O Lord, padam, material world, tava, your ipshitam, desire, yet which, maya, by your external energy, nah, for us, tanushe, you manifest, bhuta, sukshmam, the elements, gross and subtle, anugrahaya, for bestowing mercy, astu, let it be, api also, yerhi, when maya, through your causeless mercy, lasat, splendid, tulasya, with a breath of tulasi, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, vilakshita, is perceived. Translation. My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of gross and subtle elements just for our sensual satisfaction. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with a splendid wreath of tulasi leaves. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is clearly stated here that the material world is not created by the personal will of the Supreme Lord. It is created by His external energy because the living entities want to enjoy it. This material world is not created for those who do not want to enjoy sense gratification, who constantly remain transcendental loving service, and who are eternally Krishna conscious. For them, the spiritual world is eternally existing. Then they enjoy there. Elsewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that for those who have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this material world is useless. Because this material world is full of danger at every step, it is not meant for the devotees but for living entities who want to lord it over the material energy at their own risk. Krishna is so kind that he allows the sense enjoying living entities, a separate world created by him, to enjoy as they like. Yet at the same time, he appears in his personal form. The Lord unwillingly creates this material world, but he descends in his personal form or sends one of his reliable sons or a servant or a reliable author like Vasudeva to give instruction. He himself also instructs in his speeches of Bhagavad Gita. This propaganda work goes on side by side with the creation to convince the misguided living entities who are rotting in this material world to come back to him and surrender unto him. Therefore, the last instruction of the Bhagavad Gita is this: give up all your manufactured engagements in the material world and just surrender unto me. I shall protect you from all sinful reactions. What do you want? 7 o'clock is there is another pointing straight up. Okay, singing I'll do. Text 21. You want a prodigy? Read. Use your brain. Use your intelligence for this. Tam tvanubhutya parata kriya Tvam tvanubhutyo parata kriyardham Swamaya vartita loka antram Namami abhikshnam namaniya pada Sarojamal piyasi kamavarsham. Tam, that twa, you, Anubhutaya, by realizing, Uparata, disregarded, Kriya, enjoyment of fruitive activities, Ardham, in order that, come, look at here, Swamayaya, by your energy, you can read the purport, okay? Vardita, brought about, Lokasantram, the material worlds, Namami, I offer obeisances, Abhikshnam, continuously, Namaniya, worshipable, Pada Sarojam, lotus feet, Alpiyasi, on the insignificant, Kama, desires, Varsham, showering. Come here, read the translation. Come here. Read the translation. Come.
Shivering, shivering, shivering. Where is the translate?
Yeah, translation. I continuously.
I continually offer my respectful abundance into your lotus feet, of which it is worthy to take shelter, because you shall all benedictions on the insignificant, to give all the living entities detachment from fruitive activity. By realizing you have expanded these material worlds by your own energy.
Purport by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You read this? Read the one translation? Okay, next wait for the next translation here. Follow me. Everyone, therefore, whether he desires material enjoyment, 7:5. Everyone, therefore, whether he desires material enjoyment, liberation, or the transcendental loving service of the Lord, should engage himself offering obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, because the Lord can award everyone his desired benediction. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord affirms, Ye idamam prapadyante. Anyone who desires to be a successful enjoyer in this material world is awarded that benediction by the Lord. Anyone who wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world is given liberation by the Lord. Anyone who desires to constantly engage in his service in full Krishna consciousness is awarded that benediction by the Lord. For material enjoyment, he has prescribed so many ritualistic, sacrificial performances in the Vedas, and thus people may take advantage of those instructions and enjoy material life in higher planets or in a noble aristocratic family. These processes are mentioned in the Vedas, and one can take advantage of them. It is similar with those who want to be liberated from this material world. Unless one is disgusted with the enjoyment of this material world, he cannot aspire for liberation. Liberation is for one who is disgusted with material enjoyment. Vedanta Sutra says, therefore, Atatho Brahma Jignasha, those who have given up the attempt to be happy in this material world can inquire about the absolute truth. For those who want to know the absolute truth, the Vedanta Sutra is available, as is Srimad Bhagavatam. The actual explanation of Vedanta Sutra. Since Bhagavad Gita is also Vedanta Sutra, by understanding Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedanta Sutra or Bhagavad Gita, one can obtain real knowledge. When one obtains real knowledge, he becomes theoretically one with the Supreme. And when he actually begins the service of Brahman or Krishna consciousness, he is not only liberated but situated in his spiritual life. Similarly, for those who want to lord it over material nature, there are so many departments of material enjoyment. Material knowledge and material science are available. The Lord provides for persons who want to enjoy them. The conclusion is that one should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for any benediction. The word Kama Varsham is very significant, for it indicates that he satisfies the desire of anyone who approaches him, but who sincerely loves Krishna and it wants material enjoyment is in perplexity. Krishna, being very kind toward him, gives him an opportunity to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and so he gradually forgets the hallucination. Text 22. Rishiruvacha iti Iviti avelikam pranutto banabas tama babase vachasa mrutena suparna paksho pari rochamana prema smidvakshina vibramad bruhu. Rishi Vacha, the great sage Maitreya said, Iti thus, Avyalikam, sincerely, Pranutaha, having been praised, Abjanabaha, Lord Vishnu, Tham to Kardama Muni, Abba Bhashe replied, Vachasa with words, Amrutena, as sweet as nectar, Suparna of Garuda, Paksha the shoulders, Upari upon, Rochamana shining, Prema of affection, Smita with a smile, Udvikshana looking, Vibramad gracefully moving, Bruh eyebrows. Translation: Maitreya resumed, sincerely extolled in these words. No, read this translation. Maitreya
resumed, sincerely
extolled
extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining by very beautiful on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. He eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection.
This?
It's a small. Is it big? Oh no, it's big. No, I don't want it.
You can stop in the middle if you want. The word
The word
Vachisamrutena. The word Vachisamrutena
is wherever the Lord speaks, he speaks from the transcendental words. He does not speak from the material world. Since he is transcendental, his speech is also transcendental, as is his activity. Everything in relation to him is transcendental to words. Amrita refers to one who does not meet with death. The words and activities of the word are deathless, therefore they are not manufactured of his material world. The sound of material world, and that is the spiritual world, are completely different. The sound of spiritual world is nectarine and eternal, whereas of the sound of the material world is hackneyed, and subject to and the sound of the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, everlastingly increases the earth's enthusiasm of the chanter. If one repeats mantras, monotonous material worlds, he will feel exhausted. But if he chants Hare Krishna 24 hours and a day, he will never feel exhausted. Rather, he will feel encouraged to continue chanting more and more. When the Lord replied to the sage and
Kardama.
cardama.
The
The word Vachusanama is specifically mentioned since he spoke from the transcendental world. He replied in transcendental world, and when he spoke, his eyebrows moved with great affection. When a devotee praises the glories of the Lord is very satisfied, and he bestows he is he his transcendental ben, ben, benediction upon the devotee without reservation, because he is always causelessly merciful toward his devotee.
Yeah, done. Good job, Ved. Today we wrap to Canto 3, Chapter 21, Text 22. We'll continue reading tomorrow. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. We'll continue to Guru Puja. Hare Krishna. Bakati Sadma Mandamui Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasadi Bhai Ei Baba Turiya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoi Ja Hote Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Ithete Kuriya Kya Arana Kuriya Mani Asha Jai Guru Cherani Rati Aise Uttama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Wait. Imagine now. Watch. Listen. चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होती अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेदे गाय जहरा चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदमा जनारा बंधु लोकाना लोके राजीवाना आह प्रभु कुरु दया देह मोरे पादा छाया ए बीजा सुसुख त्रिभुवाना श्रील प्रभुपाद पतिता पावाना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्जिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा यद्वैता गणधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्दा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nityai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura Hari Bol. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which you can end pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is that my conscience is purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character.